A few days ago, I stumbled upon a Reddit post about a simple but very surprising and cool tweak for VR content. I'm talking about the 3D Boost mod for OpenXR Toolkit made by Primashock. Some of you may have tried it already, but I just thought we need to get more eyes on this. This 3D depth boost mod by Primashock is doing something very impressive, in my opinion at least. To quote the creator of this mod, it can dramatically improve the depth perception, the 3D presence, and the overall feeling of spatial realism while in VR. Note that he adds it can instead of it will. That is because while it may work perfectly for you and me, others might not feel the same sensation. We are all different human beings after all, and there are many aspects that can affect the results. Your IPD value, your eyes distance to the lenses, your vision in general, and many other aspects. So just like many other things in VR, this is not for everyone. And I wouldn't call this a universal solution for enhanced 3D effect in VR. It does involve some trial and error tweaking and adjustments before you even hopefully find the perfect balance that is right for you and your eyes. It's all about finding a sweet spot between enhanced 3D depth and maintained eye comfort. I've been messing around with this mod for a few days now on the Pimax Dream Air, and I completely agree with Primashock. By doing some small adjustments, you will, in real time, feel a noticeably enhanced stereoscopic depth in anything you try that supports OpenXR Toolkit. Like VR simulators, VR games, 3D movies, and yeah, even those specific 180-degree movies as well, I can confirm. Now, what this mod does, or at least what I think it does, is to adjust the viewpoints of what's rendered per eye, and also it changes the stereo separation in VR. This gives you a visual sensation of a more realistic 3D depth, and your VR world just looks deeper. It's not only making VR to look more correct, but the distances between objects are easier to determine, and even things at far distance just doesn't look as flat as before. Well, I'm not saying VR in general at distance it looks flat, but this just adds another layer of depth. Specifically in flight simulators such as Microsoft Flight Simulator or DCS World, where you're mainly sitting in a cockpit, constantly switching your views between the cockpit gauges and the world view outside, this mod blew me away. You see, a minor thing such as trees or buildings from a few hundred yards away just have more depth now. Somehow, I can now easily distinguish individual trees, mountains, or buildings from each other by accurately feeling the distance in between them. They're literally like popping out. It's hard to explain, but it does somehow immerse me in a different way. For instance, when approaching upon a VFR landing just a few hundred yards away from the runway, it makes landings in VR somewhat easier now, because the approximate distance to the runway is just easier to feel or see. But then again, I have to warn you that this is not for everyone, since this mod is adjusting the stereo separation among other VR-related parameters. This will affect how you perceive the VR view, and some people are just more sensitive to this. So you may actually get eye strain and feel uncomfortable, while some of you may not even see the difference. I think that you just need to try it and quickly figure out if your eyes can cope with it or not. And also, make sure to do very small adjustments, at first at least. Most importantly, don't push it to the limit, especially too soon before your eyes have accepted some smaller adjustment and adapted to it. Also, this mod will affect the total field of view and the world scale, making it slightly smaller the higher value you push on the 3D boost. So to keep the correct world scale, you will need to increase it separately, either in the game settings if available, or directly in OpenXR Toolkit. Now, if you ask me, I would start off by setting 3D depth boost at 10 or 12, and then decrease the field of view to 95% and set the world scale to around 110%. I think this is a good starting point that will give you an idea of how this mod affects your view and adds depth without introducing any eye strain. From there, you can of course try to push it and go higher to find a good balance before it starts to feel uncomfortable. Initially, I would recommend you only do this mod on a sitting down VR experiences such as VR flight simulators or racing simulators, maybe some 3D platformers like Moss, or while watching 3D movies in VR. I would highly recommend you not to try this with first-person shooters, at least not until you get used to the new 3D sensation. Now, you may wonder how to get this running. Well, apart from the Reddit post, Primashock did a video about this on his YouTube channel. This video includes a quick tutorial on how to set it all up. So instead of doing just another tutorial here, I rather recommend you to just watch his video before you get started. Link in the video description down here below. Primashock also said he will keep improving this mod, and he plans to add follow-up videos on how this actually works from a technical perspective, which I think it's gonna be quite interesting. Anyway, as a VR enthusiast myself that's been around in the VR sphere for like a decade now, I always love and appreciate such tweaks just pop up out of nowhere. So big thanks to Primashock for creating this mod in the first place and sharing it with our community. Check out his videos and try out the mod by yourself on your Pimax headset and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.